Hi everyone, it's me EDJ here, and now we're going to be reacting to the Conquest of Italy from our Unbiased Rome series from Dovahati. And yeah, I don't really have much to add. I'm just going to guess we're going to learn a bit more about how Rome spread out, and we're kind of obviously building up to how it became such a great power. But other than that, I don't really have much to add, so I'm just going to jump right into this. Let's see what we'll learn today.
You know, whenever I want to feel truly disgusted, I usually take a look at a map of Italy from the 4th century. Gauls to the north, Greeks to the south, and an unholy mix of Etruscans, Umbrians, and Samnites in the middle.
Rome was
Absolutely
tiny.
disgusting. And it is with those fucking Samnites where the wars for Italy's fate would start. They lived in the Apennine Mountains, often raiding the lower plains of Campania and taking cities like Capua. Rome went the extra mile to civilize those savages, but couldn't reach the hill tribes. This disparity was the spark of the First Samnite War. Capua couldn't defend itself, so called in Rome, whom easily broke the Samnite siege, placing a garrison of plebeian soldiers in the city. Yeah, you saw it coming. Capua eventually revolted against Rome, and the plebs soldiers took the opportunity to demand higher pay. Now, it wouldn't have been a problem had you not started a Latin rebellion with it. The Romans were forced to stop the war, rushing back home and crushing the Latins near the Vesuvius, using the Samnites as meat shields at that. If you're asking how the Samnites could be dumb enough to accept this, it is because you haven't met one. With peace restored, the Romans began granting citizenships left and right to the Latins, using them to build colonies further south, even crossing the border with Samnium. They wouldn't stop complaining over it, but the Romans couldn't give two shit.
I'm trying to remember something. I like he brought that up, because I think Rome often gave citizenship, right? Or like always try to integrate conquered people or stuff into it. I know they also like adopted like other gods and just added them, like they were collecting, like Pokemon cards. So I don't know why. Just am I right about that? Yeah, they would always like try to integrate people and stuff. I don't know why, I just remembered that.
Shit about it. And then we have Neapolis, a Greek colony, in case you were wondering why it's such a shit city today. Itching for war, the Samnites placed a garrison in Neapolis, agitating it to attack the Roman colonies, thus starting the Second Samnite War, getting us to the first Roman hero of today, Quintus Fabius Maximus Rullianus. He led his men to victory in Samnium, while Neapolis fell to Rome and the consuls led the legions further into enemy territory. Getting so wrecked in the war, the Samnites started pleading for peace, and just before the consuls could respond, they were surrounded, stuck within the Apennine Mountains. The Romans tried carving their way through, but the endless hordes were too much. To save their men's lives, the consuls surrendered. The Samnites relished in their deceitful victory, stripping the Romans of their weapons, walking them under the yoke, and taking their lands. With such a humiliating defeat, it was time for a change. So far, the Romans had used the phalanx, invented by their Trojan ancestors, but it wouldn't do anymore. With the unparalleled intellect of Rome's greatest minds, they substituted the phalanx with the brilliant maniple system. Now, the legions were divided into 120 men-strong maniples, organized sparsely to better navigate rough terrain. In front lay the hastati, the official plebeian meat shields. At the center, the principes, where the experienced patricians put up the real effort. And behind were the veteran triari, the elite alpha males, used only when truly needed. Now, back in the war, the Romans were attacked by the Etruscans, whom were promptly obliterated by relief.
Yeah, obviously, Rome was such a military superpower. And I know this, it's kind of this series is meant to be like a jokish kind of thing, right? Don't take it seriously. I have to pass several videos, but I do like when it brings up stuff like that. Rome was really militaristically very innovative and just super powerful. And there was a reason they were such a military force to be reckoned with for such a long time. They were really, what's the word I'm looking for? Adaptive, I think, or adapted. Yeah, they adapted very well, but there's another word that escapes me at the moment. I apologize, but yeah, they were really innovative and adaptive, which is really great in warfare, I think.
The Samnites in turn were all kicked out of Campania, suing for peace. Real this time. Victorious once more, the Romans cemented their victory by building the Appian Way, a road that led to Rome, the first of many. But success does breed jealousy.
I'm really sorry I keep pausing, but I like the Samnite Wars. Didn't know about that. I might want to look into that later. But something else I really like, I forgot I should have mentioned earlier, is that Yeah, Rome has a lot of grit. I really like even when they lose or like they get set back, they immediately just keep going, and that's something like just that perseverance and grit and determination that like the Romans had is just it's not hard to see why they were such a force to be reckoned with, right? Like you could beat them really bad, but they wouldn't surrender. I think a lot with the Hannibal Barca thing. Like I love Hannibal Barca. I don't think I'm saying his last name right, but you know who I'm talking about. I assume anyone who watches these videos already knows. You're already all well versed in history, but yeah, it's like Hannibal was like one of Rome's greatest rivals, and he couldn't break them, despite his military genius. I'm a huge Hannibal fan, by the way, like crossing of the Alps and all that. It's just my favorite dude to learn about in terms of like military accomplishments. Like some people might say Napoleon or like Julius Caesar or Alexander the Great, but for me it was Hannibal. Like he's like my favorite personally.
Lots of it, equally shared by the Samnites, Etruscans, Umbrians, and Gauls, all uniting in a coalition to make Rome burn again. Camillus might not have been around anymore, but you know who was? Cornelius Scipio Barbatus, the first of many as well. Admittedly, this one didn't do too much. Him and Fulvius
Dang, when a dude's named Scipio, he's about to do something awesome.
Did kill some barbarians, but it's the next year's consuls who get the real fame. Back to Flavius Maximus Rullianus and his friend Publius Decius Mus. Rullianus did his specialty, devastating the Etruscans, while Decius did the same with Samnium. The war culminated in the Battle of Sentinum, where Decius and Fabius led the legions against the barbarian coalition. The Romans charged furiously at the enemy, barely using their prickly pace. As the battle raged, the left flank began to waver against the ceaseless Gallic spam of chariots, being too cowardly to actually fight on the field. Seeing the danger, Decius led a suicidal charge against them, sacrificing himself to buy time. Given the opportunity, Fabius sent half of the Triadi to save the left flank, and the other half to rout the Samnites. As they fled the field and the Romans set pursuit, Fabius sent the Triadi to surround the Gauls, slaughtering them all, retribution for the sack of Rome, which will only be fully avenged in the centuries to come. Oh, how I wait. Triumphant a third time, Rome annexed all of central Italy, now the master of the peninsula, with two exceptions, those being the Gauls up north, whose time will come, and the Greeks down south in Magna Graecia. The resulting few years of peace ended soon after, for while Rome was mediating a dispute in a Greek city with their navy, Tarentum completely chimped out and attacked them, over some ancient maritime treaty or some bullshit excuse. Surely, the Greeks in Tarentum weren't stupid enough to deny paying the reparations, right? If you're asking that, it's because you don't know one. Sure enough, war it was, and Tarentum immediately pleaded for help from mainland Greece. Now, I won't waste your time with the utterly insane shit-flinging mess that was Greek politics by then. Safe to say, there was a kingdom called Epirus, led by a Greek king named Pyrrhus. It had 20,000 Greeks, 20 Indian war elephants, and nothing to fucking do. So when he heard Tarentum bitching, off he went to Italy. The tricky thing is that Pyrrhus' army was all equipped with top-notch equipment they looted from Trojan ruins, managing to put up a fight with Rome at Heraclea. But once they started to lose, off went Pyrrhus, spamming his elephants until forcing a victory. Yeah, victory. The kind where you suffer massive casualties and can only win by spamming living tanks.
Dang, dude. Yeah, sometimes it's like looking at we've been watching a lot of like history videos on this channel. Actually, dare I say we've only been watching history videos on this channel, and it's like you see like some of these victories, but it's like you lost so much men. Can you really even count it as a victory anymore? It's like man,
in the battle. Call it a Pyrrhic victory. Pyrrhus did live to his Greek genes though, sacking and genociding every shred of civilization he could on his way to Rome. He took
it's just like, man, the Greeks. Greeks in Rome, man, it's just hilarious. I really like learning about the war elephants, because like a while ago I was like really into like searching about Alexander the Great's like battles, and like when he tried to go to India and fought that, he was a minor Indian king, Porus or something, I forgot the dude's name, but like yeah, even the war elephants weren't enough to like completely beat him. But yeah, those things are devastating, man. Like the war elephants, I don't know why, it's just something cool about riding an elephant to war and shooting arrows from it. Like I don't know, that's just a a cool thing, like image in my head.
One good look at the serving walls and fucked off to Ascalon, where he met with the Romans again. He was about to lose, but then spammed his elephants and forced a retreat. At least he admitted this time that one more such victory and they were fucked. Maybe that's why he decided to fuck off to Sicily. No one really knows. Killing Greeks was simply much easier, I suppose. He did fight Carthage while over there, but I'll save my hatred towards them for the next video. Once done in Sicily, Pyrrhus decided to sack an Italian temple of Proserpina, Persephone in barbarian speech, sending the ship with the loot home, only for Jupiter to bolt it. Some divine justice at last. After everything that happened, Pyrrhus actually returned to Italy. Maybe he was hoping to force another victory. But his cheese strats were already figured out, getting kicked out back to Greece. Victorious, fourth? Fifth time? Yeah, the Latin word counts. A fifth time, Rome annexed the Greek lands of Magna Graecia, now bringing civilization to almost all of Italy. Quite a bloody chapter in Roman history, but you've seen nothing yet. For the next time, we will cover the Punic Wars, where Dido's curse goes into full effect. I'll see you then, plebs. Ciao, ciao.
Alright, guys, that was cool. So, yeah, that was really cool to learn about. And I'm looking forward to learning about the Punic Wars. I saw the oversimplified Punic War video, and I imagine I'll just be kind of saying a lot of what I said there again, though I like to hear how Dovahati breaks it down. These videos are really enjoyable. I'm actually really having fun in this series, and yeah, it was definitely getting easier to follow, because the first two to do was speed running, like he was timed or something. But it'll be definitely cool going down this series, and I guess he stops, the fall of Rome. I'm not watching the 6-hour Byzantine history speed. Oh my gosh, imagine a 6-hour reaction video. Nah, dude, I can't do that. Well, bye everyone.